Hey, it's Grady at Twin Creek Audio, and today I've got the Golden Age Premier Pre-573. This is a one-channel vintage-style microphone, line, and instrument preamplifier for the 500 series rack format. This thing has UK Carnhill transformers, a flexible mic line and instrument input, which includes a passive or active DI circuit, up to 80 dB of gain, supposedly enough for quiet sources even with a ribbon mic. We're going to test that theory here in a minute. Selectable high pass filter, air EQ, phantom power, phase, input impedance switching. Great sound that suits most sound sources and genres. Before I roll the demonstration test footage, let's take a look at the front panel of this mic preamp. I have mounted this in my Heritage 500 series rack so we can take a look at the front panel of it. So starting at the top, we've got the mic gain control. This is a stepped control, and here you've got the switch for 48 volt phantom power. Then the level switch in the center is 0. Up would add 10 dB to this circuit, and down adds 5 dB. Normally you would leave that at 0. Then there's the mic line switch. Obviously that switches the mic input on the back of the 500 series rack to a line input mode that pads the level down 30 dB. Below that is a mic line to DI switch. So this switches between the mic line input and the front DI input. Next to that, over here you have a passive DI switch that changes the DI input to, you guessed it, a passive DI from an active DI. There's a high pass filter at either 45 or 180 hertz. And you've got the air EQ and phase switch here. Off in the middle, up is for the air band EQ, down is phase. And then there's the input impedance, the mic preamp impedance, either 300 ohms or 1200 ohms, and the output control. In order to get more color out of this, you would lower the output and increase gain on the input. To get a cleaner signal, you would increase the output level and lower the input. The first thing I tried this mic preamp out on was a snare drum. I used my Beyerdynamic M201 TG microphone on a Ludwig Acrolite snare, the rest of the kit being my 1967 Ludwig kit. Let's check out what snare drum sounds like with the Beyer M201 and the Golden Age Pre-573. For my second test, I decided to test out the claim that this mic preamp has enough gain to be used with a ribbon mic on a quiet sound source. For this, I decided to use my vintage 1977 Alvarez 000 sized acoustic guitar and a modified MXL ribbon mic. For the third test, I used the DI input on the Pre-573 Premier with my vintage Greco JB380 bass guitar, because everyone's going to want to use the DI with bass, right? I know I did. That was cool. The Golden Age Pre-573 Premier is a pretty impressive vintage style mic preamp. I found that it sounded really good on the snare drum. It gives it a nice beefy sound, and it actually seems to compress the snare drum a little bit too. So it's really, really nice on the snare drum. It also sounded fantastic with the ribbon mic on an acoustic guitar. So it definitely lives up to the claim that it has enough gain for a quiet source and a ribbon mic. The DI also sounded great on bass guitar. The choice of active or passive DI means that you can use the DI on this preamp with a wider variety of different bass guitars. Leave a comment if you'd like to see more in future videos about the Golden Age Pre-573 Premier. Also, make sure to like this video as well as subscribing to the Twin Creek Audio YouTube channel if you have not done so already. I hope each and every one of you out there has an excellent and wonderful day, night, evening, weekend, weekday, hour, minute, second, nanosecond. Whatever it is you're having, have a good one. Thanks so much for watching. For the third test, I decided for the turd.